Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. The Bisons went on the road this past Saturday to southeastern Oklahoma in Durant, Oklahoma, and won 42-3. And I have to hold up two hands to give you the winning streak now. 6 straight for the Bisons, and Coach, dominating performance by your defense. They really set the tone in the football game. Obviously, the offense was equally as dominant with 591 yards of offense. You ran 80 offensive plays in the football game. Just a complete performance by your team.
Yeah, I tell you what, it would be, you could nitpick and pick out things we could have done better, but it really was a complete team victory. And I take a lot of pride in the way our guys play on the road. I think it makes a statement about your character. And I don't want to sound the wrong way, but I'm not surprised at how well they played, just based on the way they handled the week, the preparation, the hotel, the bus ride, the focus. You could see in their eyes these guys are focused and ready to play. And so yeah, boy, just really proud of them. They just keep on getting better. And the whole season has kind of been a testament to what kind of kids we have, the character and attitude and sticking together, and just there's so much to learn from football in general, but this year is really special. And I told the seniors last night, and I hope they believe me, that I'm more proud of them right now at 6-3 than I would be at 9-0 if we were cruising, just because of the way things have gone and the way they have helped hold the ship together and just refused to give in. So Saturday was fun for us. We need to get a couple more.
One of the words that you used last week, confidence, and this football team played like a team that has a lot of confidence going on the road to a southeastern Oklahoma team that had started the season on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, they really are playing with confidence. And Southeastern, they have always been a team that I think prides themselves on being physical and out hitting people, and that was the challenge pregame. I said, man, I really want these guys from Southeastern to have a new definition of what physical means. And I was not trying to be arrogant, but everybody has a physical level that once it gets beyond that, they can't take it anymore. And we try to figure out what that level is. And we came pretty close. They had some guys that were ready to be done, I think.
When you look at the offensive performance, 501 yards on the ground, and Bryce Bray, this week's Great American Conference Player of the Week, the Bison Center, that's quite an honor.
Well, that is, and Bryce is an unbelievable player. He is an unbelievable leader. He's a coach on the field. He's the best center we've ever had. But that award really is a testament to the entire O-line and really the offense. Such a unique stat that we had over 500 yards rushing, but we didn't have a single individual go over 100 yards. That speaks to unselfishness, discipline, and also, just taking what the defense gives you. And I'm really proud of the way our guys respond. And I talked to the guys last night in the locker room about that. And we have some guys on our football team that if they were in other offenses would be the premier guy. We got Andrew Dather, and if Andrew Dather, if he played at some places, he would be he'd be a candidate for All-American. He's so talented, and he's just not getting many touches. And that's a great chance for a guy to be selfish, but he's been the opposite. And we have several guys that are the same way. It's all about team. It's all about us. And that's a giant part of why we are seeing good things happen, is because guys are being unselfish and really buying into brotherhood, family, sacrifice, commitment. And as a coach, watching guys do things in that kind of mature way, that is really rewarding.
All right, we are just getting started on this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. When we return, we will come back and start by looking at the highlights, and we'll start with first half highlights right after this.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. endowed as our nation is with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. The Bisons on the road this past week at Southeastern Oklahoma as we get ready to look at first quarter highlights, and the Bisons with a victory on Saturday and would get the football to begin play here in the first quarter. And Grant Kimberlin had another solid day for the Bisons, and we see him here on the first play.
Yeah, it doesn't show it, but we botched the first return and got poor field position. That was a big first down, getting us out of there. And you know, Grant looked good again yesterday. He's really on a good roll right here.
Both defenses, Coach, in the first couple of series really stepped up and forced punts.
Well, you know, sometimes it takes our offense a couple of drives to figure out what we're looking at, what we're doing. But when they get it figured out, it usually gets rolling pretty good. There's Dre Smith with a big hit right there. I thought we were really physical all day, which was kind of my big challenge. Hey, let's make sure we win the hitting battle, and we did that. Frank with a good return, get when he can get right there.
So the Bisons force the punt, get the football back here. Still no score very early, first quarter.
Yeah, unbelievable run by Zach. Some great blocking right there. Terrible call. He dives in the end zone. Is clearly in the end zone. Should have been a touchdown. I feel bad for him about that, but you know, awesome play. A bunch of guys made great blocks right there.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Coach, because you can see our angle was blocked there, and I said touchdown. So I'm glad that you said he was a touchdown.
It was it was a really bad call.
So the Bison's up 7-0 after Tristan Parsley adds another extra point. Tristan has been perfect all year. What a season he's having.
No doubt about it. This was a giant momentum play right here. Tony Beckham does just a fantastic job taking the football away. Might have bounced out of bounds, but you know, who's counting? You know, we go into the game and those guys lead the nation in takeaway ratio. Had given away one fumble on the entire season, and we take two of them away, which obviously was a giant part of the game. Really proud of that. You know, they were dangerous, good receivers, and you know, to hold those guys to 3 points is just a testament to a bunch of guys really pulling hard and working together. Coach Moat and Coach Tribble just are doing an awesome job. You know, these guys came out and they were blitzing. They were bringing corner blitz, corner fire, and so we were able to respond, get the passing game going some, and loosen them up, which was a good thing.
Good to see Bobby Green there.
Good
on
to
that
see
last
Bobby
play.
getting a touch. Love Bobby Green.
Bison's 7-0 now as we move to the second quarter.
Brandon Gates running the ball tough. Brandon, I'm really proud of him. Boy, he's strong, powerful, and the first guy never tackles Brandon. You know, he just always drags guys with him.
And Brandon wound up with 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. He rushed for 59 yards on 11 carries.
Yeah, and getting up early in the game on the road is always a big deal. You know, taking their momentum away, taking their crowd out of the game is a big deal.
Forcing another punt right here. Bison's up 14-0.
Got a break right here. You know, Frank tried to field on a bounce and lost the football. Got a break there, but bounced back. Well, you know, when you watch Cole run, the thing is if there's nothing there for Cole, he still gets 5. And he's just a special kid. I don't know how he does it. I'm glad he's a freshman though. Terrence played really well. You know, we argued for quite a while about who the MVP of the game was for us on offense, whether it was Zach or Terrence. They both played really well. And then, of course, you know, Bryce is the MVP of the conference. So try to reverse. Dylan Hendricks was ready, made a great play right there for us. Proud of Dylan. He's going to be a good player for us, just a redshirt freshman.
Bison's up 21-0 right now. We're in the second quarter and get the football back, and here's a big play early, Coach, in the game.
Yeah, and that guy can fly right there. Yeah.
Terrence Dingle to Grant Kimberlin and 60 yards, and Terrence was 4 of 5 on the afternoon throwing the football.
Yeah, and the one that he missed was really, just a attempt at a jump ball in the end zone that was really a bad call on my part, and should have had a perfect day. So really, really proud of him.
That put the Bisons now up by a 28-0 count at this point.
Well, that pass there really is the one that got them out of their crazy blitzes and everything. And then when that happened, the floodgates kind of opened for the rushing game. I made a few plays and got in the red zone. Boy, I was sick to see points go through. I was at that point thinking about the chances of getting 3 weeks in a row the shutout, but certainly won't complain.
So 28-3 right now, and here's a pass very late in the first half.
Yeah, we mismanaged that. That was my fault. We should have kicked the field goal there and got the points, but we had such momentum. What I wanted to do, we had 11 seconds left. I said, let's throw one in the end zone. If it's incomplete, we'll kick it. But it was complete to the wrong guy.
Well, Coach, it was a dominating first half. Obviously, the 28 points, 264 yards on the ground at halftime alone. But until that last drive in which Southeastern Oklahoma kicked the field goal, they only had one first down in the first half before that drive. 3 first downs for them in the first half. They only had the football, and talking about Southeastern Oklahoma, just over 7 minutes for the first half.
Yeah, it felt like it was a dominating performance, but 2 years ago we go down there and we go in at halftime, and I don't know the score, but we are up and we're kind of, it felt dominant, and we end up winning 66-65 in 4 overtime. So I was very uneasy at halftime, and we talked about got to be guys that finish and don't get complacent, and they didn't. Yeah, so I was proud of that for sure.
What was the locker room like? Because this is a team that I've talked about it all year, maturing each week, and to see such a dominating first half. To when you're talking about keeping their focus for the second half, what was the mood there in the locker room for this team?
Well, there was no celebrating going on. I can tell you that. We learned that lesson the hard way, and it was a very focused bunch, talking about making adjustments and what we can do better, and getting this thing closed out. And I'm really proud of how we played when the score is 28-3. It is really hard when you're 20 years old not to start looking ahead and assuming it's over, but they handled it really well.
So the Bisons at the half up 28-3 over Southeastern Oklahoma. Stay with us. We'll come back and we'll look at the second half highlights right after this.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Back on this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons, the Bisons up 28-3 at the half over Southeastern Oklahoma as we look at third quarter highlights, and the Bisons with a very dominating first half, and Coach Simmons talked about it before we went to break. He wanted to keep things going in the right direction for the Bisons, and Harding would do that here in the second half. And here is the kickoff to begin the second half, and it's been Cameron Scott who's really done a good job for your football team with the kickoff duties.
Yeah, he done a great job, and he put the ball deep in the end zone. That guy brought it out, and got the ball on the 9-yard line, but we let him out of the out of the hole. Disappointed about that, but
And this was a big drive for Southeastern Oklahoma's offense and a big drive for your defense because you did not want to give them any momentum early on.
yeah, there's no doubt. Anytime you can come out and get a stop on that first drive is a big deal. And right there we had a complete mix-up, and our force guy didn't show up, and disappointed in giving that first down up. But
then force the punt and get the football back.
Yep. This generally is the time when you can see other defenses starting to think twice about how much fun it is to play the flex bone. Right there, Cole with a dominant, ran over a guy there.
And Terry
Really
Stengel
impressive.
took quite a shot right there.
He did, held the ball too long a little bit. Probably made a poor play call right there. We'd like to have that one back for sure.
Big play by the defense right here to take it away.
Yeah, Brandon just ripped the ball out of that guy's hands and took the ball away. And I'm really proud of taking the ball away twice when it's happened to him once all season. And then anytime you get the ball on that end of the field, you got to get 7 points. And to finish off drives and not leave points out there is a big deal.
And that was the second touchdown of the afternoon for Brandon Gates right there. And the Bison's now up 35-3.
Yeah, proud of Brandon. Well, proud of Brandon. He's played slot, played B-back, whatever we've asked him to do, he's been ready to do it.
And there's Brandon Bryce again. You just talked about him a few moments ago with the takeaway and then a nice pass breakup right there.
We made more plays on the ball than we have all season. We had more contested passes and guys right there at the break than we have all year, and I was thrilled to see that. Brandon played his best game as a Bison for us. Love to see that.
Now Preston Payton
Yeah,
in there.
boy, great to see our young guys get in the game and come in and look really good. Matt Fuller ran with some passion, which we've been wanting to see all year. Preston managed to show, and when their ones are still in, and when your second string offense gets in the game and executes and plays really well, that's exciting.
And
really
there is
exciting.
Matt Fuller with the touchdown after the Tristan Tucker run right before that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, so proud of those guys.
And so the Bison's up 42-3 at this point. And the defense coach never stopped. They continued to play hard there late in the fourth quarter when had the game in control, and now even more young guys have an opportunity to play right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate it. I told the guys, I said, coaches, do not score again. Do not score again. And I thought we were about to.
And the Bison's 42-3 victory on Saturday afternoon. The highlights there, and we talked about Brandon Bryce, and you said the best game for him as a Bison on Saturday. It seems like that just watching the game from where I watch it up in the press box, there's somebody that steps up every week, and we go, boy, that guy. You see that he's getting better and better, and then all of a sudden you just you notice different players each week, and it's happened during this 6-game stretch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We really have a lot of guys that are starting to play their best ball. Antonio Montez, it was the same way. He really was dominant up front, and didn't get his name called very much, but he whipped their centers and guards all night long, and that creates a domino effect and affects the passing game, and he's getting in pulling lanes, and so he's another guy that was very dominant Saturday.
Forced a lot of third downs for Southeastern Oklahoma. They were only 3 of 13, and in turn, your offense was very efficient, 9 of 12 on third down.
Yeah, both of those numbers are dynamite, and earlier in the year we were giving up close to 50%. We were last in the league in third down conversion on defense, and we really have got that turned around, which is a giant part of us winning. But I tell you what, when your offense is 9 out of 12 on third down, your chances of winning are pretty high.
What about the defense? When you look at Southeastern Oklahoma's numbers, only 17 rushes. That's a very low number for the Savage Storm on Saturday.
Well, that's got a lot to do with getting out to an early lead, but that there were a lot of things that we expected to happen that didn't happen for whatever reason. They've been a big screen team, both slow and fast screen. We didn't get either one of those. They've run the dart a lot. We didn't get that, and so they just try to give us some different looks that we haven't seen. And but yeah, when they got behind on the scoreboard and started throwing the football, that kind of presented a new challenge. But when you get one-dimensional, it makes the defense's job a little bit easier.
So the Bison's 42-3 victory on Saturday afternoon. We still have more ahead for you here on this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. We'll come back with a fan question for Coach right after this.
Ma.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons, and now it's time to check in with our fan question for Coach.
I'm here with senior Aaron Bunner with this week's question for Coach Simmons.
Hey Coach, having been the defensive coordinator for Harding in the past, how are you feeling about not allowing a touchdown in the past 3 games?
I'm Bailey Hedden with the Harding Sports Network. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Bailey. And Coach, I know that you love to see that defense play well. Obviously, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach last year, now head coach. Only 3 points the last 3 weeks. That has to make you feel good.
Yeah, that's I mean, my whole life I've been a defensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I am in my heart. And the game today is designed for offenses. I mean, it's just so common to see a 45-40 ball game across every level, and they protect the quarterback, and they let you hold. I mean, the game is not made for defenses. And so, to shut out somebody anytime is a giant accomplishment. But to give up 3 points in 3 ball games, 2 of them being overnight road games, is a giant deal. And I'm just going to tell you, Coach Moat and Coach Tribble, those guys. They have been burning it at both ends. They have been killing themselves, preparing our guys. And I promise you, when that last bell rings, those guys are going to be exhausted, and they're going to deserve a good break because they have worked really, really hard. It was hard for me at the beginning of the year, going from being the D coordinator for a long time to being just the D-line coach. But I can tell you the more I step back and let those guys, the more they do, the less I do, the better we get. So I need to just get out of the way and let those guys coach. They're doing fantastic. I'm really proud of them.
Coach, the Great American Conference, what a year it has been for the football conference. Very competitive. We went into last week, there were 4 teams with 2 losses. Now there are only 2, Arkansas Tech and Ouachita at the top of the conference standings at 7-2. Then the Bisons, 6-3, along with Southeastern Oklahoma and Southern Arkansas. And this is really going to be a fun final 2 weeks in the conference race.
There really are a lot of big football games left the last 2 weeks. But, really they're all big because there's been so many shocking scores. I mean, every weekend there is a score that you just say, boy, I didn't see that coming. It happens every weekend, and so nothing would be that shocking to end this season. But I can tell you, this is going to sound cliche, but we absolutely have got one game that matters, and that's East Central. And those guys are talented. I walked in this morning and turned them on, and boy, I was in a good mood and excited, and I got in a bad mood quickly. They have a really good O-line. They got the best tight end in the league. Their freshman running back leads the league in rushing. They're so much better than they should be at 2-7. I mean, I'm mad about it, really. So we have got our hands full, and the thing for us is we've got to do one thing. We got to stay humble, and we got to stay grateful, and we got to act like that, and remember how hard it was to get where we were. Remember how hard things were when we were 0-3. I got a text this week from somebody that I love, and it just said, "Pride forgets, humility remembers." And well, we don't want to be prideful, and we don't want to forget about how tough it was. We don't want to forget how hard it was to get where we are, and we especially don't want to forget where all our blessings come from. It feels like God is raining down blessings on our team, and I don't mean just wins. I mean what you see going in the locker room, what you see going in these guys' lives. Young men that are obviously seeking out Jesus. It is powerful right now, and we just want to keep our eyes focused on God and stay humble and grateful, and I think He'll honor that.
You've talked about the opponent. East Central is going to be a big task this week. I want you to talk about the seniors and why we want to see people at First Security Stadium to honor them on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll tell you what now. If you're watching this, we need you at the game Saturday. I mean, we have young men that will play their last game in that stadium that are special, special young men. Those guys have left a giant mark on Harding football. We're such a huge part of getting to where we are right now and winning playoff games. And just some guys that are really special and deserve to be honored in the right way Saturday. So I know it's the opening day of the youth deer hunt, so get that deer on the ground early, get to the ball game. We need you there, and we're going to honor those seniors before the game. So we need you guys there at about 1:45, ready to make those guys feel special.
All right, Coach, it's always great to look back at the highlights with you, especially after a win. 6 straight wins for the Bisons. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for this week's edition of Harding Football with Paul Simmons. Don't forget the Bison Senior Day on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. We hope to see you at First Security Stadium.